Welcome to Training for HOA Boards presented by HOA-USA. The subject of this video is maintenance and reserve funds. Every association has some common area elements for which it must be responsible for maintenance or replacement. A quick list here: paving, such as streets, parking lots, parking garages; sidewalks, the standard swimming pool, tennis courts, clubhouse. It may have a retention pond or lakes or dams. It may have retaining walls. It may have erosion protection in the area of coastal associations. Sprinkler systems, lighting. It goes on to mailboxes and wells and wastewater systems, particularly in condominiums, the exterior walls and the balconies, the roofs and the gutters. The association may have landscaping equipment, office equipment. Condominiums may have extensive HVAC systems and elevators. These are all common area elements for which associations have maintenance responsibilities. The association has a responsibility to maintain, repair, and replace the common area elements, which often represents expensive capital expenditures for those issues that we talked about: paving, roof replacement, clubhouse repairs, and others. The reserve fund is a separate bank account where funds are set aside by the association to pay for the replacement or the repair of the common area elements. These reserve funds should be collected in a separate line item in the HOA operating budget and then transferred to a separate reserve fund account. Reserve funds are not used for operating expenses, and in fact, if they are transferred back in the other direction, it may impose certain tax complications. The amount of a reserve fund is based on a reserve study, which is simply a capital budget planning tool. It takes into account an inventory of assets, the valuation, the life expectancy, and projections of cost for future repair or replacement. Some states actually require that associations conduct and maintain a reserve fund study. A fewer number of states require that reserve funds be set aside to a specific amount in a separate budget line item. The consequences of an underfunded reserve account is immediate increases in assessments or a special assessment, which is going to penalize current owners, recent owners, for the HOA's previous lack of planning. Associations that have few amenities, perhaps it's just a sign at the entrance, minimal capital elements, they can develop their reserve fund using a simple spreadsheet. On the other hand, some associations, when you get into the range of reserve budgets, $50,000, $100,000, or even upwards to $1 million, they should consider contracting with a reserve specialist to make sure that that reserve fund is properly prepared. Some of the responsibilities here for the association board: to maintain, protect, and enhance the value of the common areas, to ensure the safety of the residents, guests, and the employees, to review the governing documents and any other laws regarding the association's duties, its authority, and its powers to protect, inspect, and maintain the assets. The association has a responsibility to maintain exterior elements with townhomes and condominiums. It should also develop and maintain the appropriate management controls to ensure that maintenance is being conducted. It should award and administer contracts for services such as management, landscaping, pool services, security, and others. With regard to the maintenance controls, it begins with an inventory of assets, and then there should be a schedule and a record of the routine, the preventive, and the emergency maintenance issues. It should keep proper records and forms for maintenance requests, for work orders, and for completion. There should be a plan for the protection of assets in the event of hurricanes, floods, and wildfires. And finally, it should consider and be responsible for the storage and protection of important documents, such as the site plans, the utility and shutoff locations, the construction drawings, the security controls, warranties, manuals, computer passwords, keys. In the course of managing large projects, it's important that the association consider some additional measures. We're talking about projects in excess of $25,000 or so, and that's an easy number to hit. For those kind of large projects, there should be specific bid specifications prepared, a bid document, if you will. There should be an invitation to contractors to submit sealed bids. The contract should be properly awarded. The board should be responsible for monitoring the performance of these contracts. And finally, it should inspect the final project to ensure everything was done according to specification. Depending on the scope, the complexity, and the amount of the contract, the association may want to engage the services of an architect, an engineer, or a professional project manager. Oftentimes, it will save money in doing so. This covers the topic on maintenance and reserve funds. Coming up next, meetings and elections.